And welcome back to our coverage of ONS 2017. We're here with David Erickson. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Forward Networks. We're going to be talking about network visibility and network assurance. And David, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, thanks for being here with us. Again, I want to talk about network assurance and network visibility. Clearly, the visibility is critical for the assurance. Can you sort of walk us through the importance of those two components?
Absolutely. So, in today's super complex networks, we're adding more and more complexity, layer by layer, protocol by protocol, and this detaches the operators further and further away from what's actually happening. And when you look around the market today, it's very hard to assemble a set of tools or a set of software that will give you everything you need to know about your network. So, precisely how traffic can go from point A to point B, what protocols, all the different device types, like what exactly is happening. And so this is one of the key areas that we've focused on as a company.
So predictive network behavior is part of one of your core competencies. Can you give us maybe a use case or example of what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at what Forward Networks does, there's sort of two key goals that we're trying to accomplish. So one is improving the efficiency of all of the operations. And then two is really improving, taking your network uptime to 100%. So let's look at the first one. So improving the efficiency of the operators. At the bottom level, what we do is we go to every device in your environment, and we don't focus on just security devices or just networking devices. We get all of it. So switches, routers, firewalls, load balancers, you name it. We go and collect all of the state and all of the config from these. We build a software copy of your network that is behaviorally accurate, that tells us that we can tell you, in fact, exactly where every possible packet can go in this environment. And so this allows any of your network operators, network engineers to be able to come to the system and ask questions and get immediate answers, kind of like Google for the web, right? So what's a common thing they need to do is tell me how traffic goes from point A to point B. So we can give an instant answer to that. And today, it's very manual. It can take tens of minutes to get an answer to that. And this is something that network operators and engineers do on every single trouble ticket they've got. Okay, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is really about how do we help people ensure that their networks are up all the time and that they're doing what they expect them to do, right? So let's assume that I came to you and asked you, how do you know your network is working correctly, right? Like, can you give a great answer on that? Is it, my customers aren't calling me right now? I mean, that's not a particularly great answer, and certainly that's not a good answer around security. So our goal is to help you ensure 100% uptime by bringing the policy into your environment, testing it continuously with our platform, and then also helping you predict the outcome of changes before you make it, so that you don't ever push something that you don't have complete confidence is going to keep your network working and solve whatever problem you're trying to fix.
So David, let's say I'm an SMB, I need to make sure that my network is fully optimized or optimized to its fullest capacity.
Yeah.
What would be, I'm trying to get to, like, what would be a real use case of what they're trying to extract from Forward Networks?
Yeah.
Beyond the technology of the network itself.
Absolutely. So our focus today is really enterprises, so the larger companies, but I think the key use cases there are twofold. So again, one is efficiency, and two is around change management, making sure that we keep the network up and running in a functioning way. So let me give you a very specific use case. Let's say you're a bank, and you have a change window on a Friday, Saturday night, Sunday night that you need to make a change. So what you can do is you can come in ahead of that change, deploy Forward Networks into the area that you're going to make the change, put in some policy of what you expect your network to be doing there, then make the change, and then use us to validate after the fact that everything still works, that you expect to work, and that we have fixed, that you have correctly fixed, whatever it is that you were making that change for in the first place. And the key value here is we are comprehensive, right? So we can test everything. There's no rocks that you're going to leave unturned with our software. And so when business starts up Monday morning, you're not going to have any surprises that half of your apps aren't working correctly, or that your really groggy team that was trying to validate everything at 1 in the morning missed things.
So what would be the challenge in maybe reconciling being in a fully virtualized environment, the cloud, but also maybe being in a hybrid environment as well?
Yeah, great question. So This is an area that we're super interested in. Today we've focused on primarily physical data centers, on-premise, some of the WAN backbone. We're looking heavily at both moving up into on-premise virtualization, because you have a bunch of vSwitches there that can also, of course, have problems and issues. And also that path up into the cloud, where people are increasingly migrating workloads or even starting there first. And we're interested in all of those environments. Our goal is to help you have complete confidence in whatever type of network you've got, cloud, on-premise, anywhere.
So the de facto network assurance platform, is that specific to Forward Networks, or tell me what you mean by that?
So if you think back a few, maybe 10, 15 years ago to software development, people were just starting to do unit testing in a big way in their software development workflow. And if you look around today, there is no big shop that does not have unit tests in all of their software development. I think you're going to see the exact same thing happen in networking. Today, much of the testing of networks is ad hoc, it's in-house, it's not, certainly not to the caliber that it could be. And my belief is, in the next couple of years, whether it's us, whether it's another vendor, almost every serious enterprise that's got significant networking will have deployed some sort of network assurance solution, because they can't afford not to. Like, the quantity of outages that occur because of this, the difficulty, the velocity, the slowness of that today just can't continue. And these are all things that network assurance solves. And we believe we're at the tip of the spear on that.
Now, Forward Networks, the inception of Forward Networks was when? What year?
2013.
And so what gave you the idea to get into the network assurance, network visibility space?
Yeah, so me and my co-founders, we were on the team that helped bring SDN to light, Nick McEwen's lab at Stanford. And when we felt the pain ourselves on the SDN networks that we built there and deployed, and then we left Stanford and started talking to a whole bunch of people and found out that in the existing legacy gear, it was just as bad, if not infinitely worse, which was a surprise to us. We would have thought this was sort of a solved problem. And so we realized that the technology that we had been working on would apply very well into these environments, and was something that would bring new visibility, the ability to test policies, and all of this that just wasn't available today. So it was clear that there was a major industry need for that, and that we should do it.
So the network test and measurement space, is it a burgeoning space, or is the barrier to entry too high, where they want to leave it sort of to the experts, and so there's a few experts in the industry, in the field?
I think there's a number of different software products that are in this space. Like there's deep packet inspection, there's all of the packet collection, and then there's sort of a variety of other different spaces. I think the challenge that you get with what we're doing is we need to deeply go and understand what every single network device does. So we have the equivalent of drivers for every model and range of device that's out there, and this is a lot of work. Like, if you disregard all of the very challenging algorithms and all of that has to be built, just looking at all of the interop you have to do, that's very hard. That's a big barrier to entry for any other companies to get into. And so I think you haven't seen too many that have really gone into this space. Most folks will try to collect sort of the bare necessities over SNMP from devices, and that just doesn't give you the depth that you need to give the full end-to-end visibility.
Well, network assurance is it's an interesting space, and it's necessary. No offense, but maybe not the sexiest thing to talk about,
Totally.
but certainly necessary. So David, it's good talking to you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate the time. And for all of our coverage here at ONS 2017, you can go to tianow.org. So long.